trying to find out where the knocking noise was coming from on the Camaro. I'm thinking it's either something up here under the intake manifold, maybe a broken lifter or something. All the rockers seem tight, so it's probably not that. But I figured before I take all the accessories off, that's something easy I can just check real quick. Hopefully it's that, and I can just slam this thing back together, go back in the car, and have it running. Easy peasy. Otherwise, it's probably going to be a connecting rod, and the heads will have to come off, and the oil pan, and it's going to have to go on an engine stand, and all this stuff is going to have to be removed. So let's tear into it. All right. Maybe a quick time lapse just to take these bolts off. It shouldn't take me that long, so we'll start ripping into it. Well, that was quick. I probably could have just let you guys watch in real time. Let me just use my screwdriver here. Start. I know you guys aren't supposed to do this, but this is driveway party where we do what we want, right? Nobody really follows the rules. These fuel hoses ready to lift. Oh no, the EGR pipe is still on. Let me see if I can get a peek in here. Guys, all the coolant that came out of this looks perfectly reusable, and same with the oil. The oil all looks fine. I'm still real skeptical. That's why I don't think it's a spun bearing. It's definitely not a head gasket. Let's see if I can zip this off for you real quick. I think I need a different size socket. Yeah. One. I like to leave the EGR stuff on because, you know, it makes it look slower. The more stock it looks, the less people think it's fast. So, that's always fun. All right. Let's have a quick look-see in here. This top end has only been together for, I don't even think, a full fuel tank, because I had the intake manifold off. I was hoping something maybe with this lifter tray, or I'm not really sure. All these push rods are still in their happy place. Ooh, this one feels a little loose. Yeah, I wonder if I can take this off now. I was thinking about I have an extra Holly computer, full standalone in a harness, so there's a bunch of parts that I would have to change, but I could use a computer that's 30 years newer than what came on the car, and it would be much more tunable and less likely to blow up. Yeah, oh, this is loose, but that noise, I don't know yet. I haven't watched the video from the other day, if you could hear it, but it sounds brutal. It's something more than a loose rocker. Well, alright, that means I'm gonna have to take the headers off, which is a pain. These bolts are a disaster to get to. Never mind doing spark plugs on it. I would almost rather pull an engine on this car than to have to do spark plugs. It takes me like 2 days to do all 8 versus, I don't know, realistically 4 hours to take it out. But I mean, going back in is always a little harder. So I don't know. I should just start pulling the engine every time I need to do plugs, but that's kind of ridiculous. So maybe I should pull the plugs and see what they look like. Yeah, maybe I'll take the headers off next and zip all the spark plugs out and just see if one of them's bashed up. That would be a dead giveaway. Okay, time to do stuff. Alright, let's pull these spark plugs out and see what we got. This one looks okay. Number 3, okay. 5, okay. It's a little wet, but okay. 7. That one's okay. Usually that's the one that spins the bearing for whatever reason. 2. Okay. Ooh, dipstick on the loose. 4. These numbers, I don't know if you could see the 2 cylinder heads. This one is slightly more forward. So this is cylinder 1, cylinder 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on a Chevy engine. So 2, 4, this is number 6. That one looks okay. Last one. Number 8. The more stuff I find that's not broken, like I'm checking all the cheap things, so this is getting more expensive. It's not looking so good. Alright, well, maybe it is a spun bearing. I'm just gonna have to keep digging into this. But yep, gotta put this thing on an engine stand so I can turn it upside down and take it apart from the bottom now and check all the bearings. Okay, I got the transmission off. I bolted the engine stand to the engine. The cradle and suspension are still attached to the engine block. I'm gonna unbolt that now. Right now the forklift is kind of balanced, equally holding the engine on that side, and then the engine stand is also on the ground. So I'm going to unbolt the motor mounts and drop all the suspension and K-member off the engine. The trans is sitting there in the ground. I have the clutch unbolted there. I actually had 2 flywheel bolts. I don't know if it's too dark. 2 flywheel bolts stripped out, and I had to use the little mini gas torch to heat up the thread locker, and then they basically came right out. So yeah. Oh, and another thing, I always forget, where is it? There is a engine block drain for all the coolant, so I plan on making less of a mess for once. But yeah, let me get this dropped out of here and then we can start tearing into this thing. Alright, so I took the cross member and all the suspension off the engine. I lowered it down with the forklift, and I ended up putting it under the car and bolting it in. So the car is just on jack stands now. I'm probably going to roll it out of the way because it's at work and not taking up shop space. But for now, that's the end of the weekend. Thanks for watching.